I don't know about you, but I'm already in fall mode. I know I'm filming this only about 1 week into September, but if you love the Burr months as much as I do, you know the importance of starting spooky season as soon as possible. I always love wrapping up one season before we get to the next by sharing some of my favorite hobby, home, and lifestyle favorites. So welcome to the Happy Haunts Library, where it's Halloween all year long. Let's start off with some of my beauty favorites, and that is going to be my signature scent of the season, which was banana. I'm not kidding. Literally anything banana has been my go-to for helping me feel way more playful and fun. It really gets me into the summer mood when I have a scent like this that is just the opposite of the word serious. Specific items I really enjoyed is going to be Twisted Allures, the Hollow Pearl Body Lotion. This has sandalwood, cracked coconut, and banana all in one lotion. So after I do dishes, I just really look forward to putting this on my hands. And then a scent that I really love spraying on myself. This is Body Mist by Glamgoria in the scent of Banana Scream Pie, which is what inspired my outfit for today, which is very much Killer Clowns from Outer Space inspired. That definitely screams summerween to me. And this body spray really helped me get into that summerween frame of mind where things are just like playful and fun and, I'm just being a kid again. I really appreciate how scent can be so helpful in getting you into those like mental places. Okay, let's chat about the highs of my reading this past summer in the months of June, July, and August. There were some really great books that I got my hands on this summer. One I for sure want to talk about is going to be The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren. If you love vacation horror, if you love insects in your books, definitely give this book a shot. I really enjoy the commentary regarding foreigners coming into these spots that definitely have been commodified as, playgrounds for Westerners of, many countries. I thought that was really smart, but also it's fun. So it has, this intelligence to it. Another vacation horror book that I highly recommend and I don't hear anybody talking about, and that is going to be the Hotel Comics. As of recording, there are 2 volumes that are out right now. I got my hands on these through Kindle Unlimited, which I have a subscription for. And basically it centers around this one motel. I wouldn't even go as far to say that it's a hotel because it's very run down, very small. It's in a very isolated, secluded place. And I don't want to tell you too much because there are supernatural aspects to the story and it's, really short, but basically you have different groups of people with their own backstories, their own stories, all converging in this one motel that only shows up at certain times for certain people. So the story is kind of broken up into shorter stories and they all are entangled. They're not all happening at the same time. So you have just like a really thoughtful, well done story where you see how everything kind of comes together at the end. The first volume is my absolute favorite. The second one is pretty good too, but damn, the impact with that first book, so good. I would totally see myself revisiting this one again. And the illustrations are really great too. Another comic I read this summer that probably is going to be more a graphic novel than a comic is going to be this one right here, which is the Lost Boys sequel. This book picks up right where the movie leaves off, so only the first film is canon. Apparently, there is a sequel to the film. I've never seen it. I've never been able to get my hands on it to actually figure out if I want to see that sequel. I've heard it's trash. So it's nice knowing that there's actually a really great follow-up to such a cult classic and just like a childhood favorite of mine that exists right here. So if you're a fan of this movie, get your hands on this book. It is not hard to find at all, and you will really enjoy where the story goes. I feel like this comic book really stays true to the characters, and I really don't like when stories have sequels and you're just like, that is not the characterization that I know and fell in love with in the original text. So this one adds new characters, builds on the lore and the world of vampires in ways that felt very believable to me. As you can see, I really enjoyed books that had vacation settings or like, beach towns with like that Lost Boys comic. And when it comes to the movies I really clicked with this past summer, I think a lot of them really focused on like, large bodies of water and basically ocean horror. I really had an itch to scratch there with finding movies that had very compelling stories revolving around like killer sharks, beach towns, anything that had to do with just the ocean, which I find equally fascinating and scary beyond belief. Okay, The Cave was such a great movie. This movie came out in 2005, and I feel like it's one of those movies that doesn't get enough credit for being just a great, solid monster movie with some great acting. When an uncharted cave system is discovered beneath a 13th century Romanian abbey, a team of thrill-seeking professionals is flown in to search the area for signs of a new ecosystem. The good news is they do find life. The bad news is they may not be alive long enough to tell the story. So I'd say give this movie a shot if you feel like you thought it'd be just a little too trashy and not worth your time. I personally feel like it is. Deep Blue Sea was such a good time. This is a film I've been needing to watch for many, many years. You probably have already seen it. It is probably my all-time favorite shark movie. I really love The Meg with Jason Statham, both of them. That's probably an unpopular opinion. Anywho, I'm pretty sure Deep Blue Sea tops that film. I think it is almost as ridiculous as The Meg, although The Meg is very over the top. I love the ending of this film, although there's like this one storyline with the CEO that was there making some really immoral decisions. The way her story ended felt very bizarre to me. But LL Cool J for sure made this film. Then we have The Bay, which, oh my gosh, I'm traumatized. Like, I saw this movie a few weeks ago, and still as I went to the lake this past weekend, I was like looking down under the water. I was like looking over my shoulder. I was looking at the tall grass in front of me, just waiting, ready to react to anything in the water that should not be there. Technically, I shouldn't be there. I'm in other people's habitats, but still, I think it just speaks to the power of this movie, and it's found footage. So it's like in this mockumentary style that really got under my skin. Pun definitely intended. If you love found footage, you need to watch The Bay. A quick little shout out to the Friday the 13th franchise, which I watched all in its entirety in probably the span of 1 week, minus the last 2 films, I believe. There are a few home items that brought me tons of joy this past summer. For one, I love these Rotten Flamingo prints. This is a small business that's based outside of the United States. It is the perfect blend of my Palm Springs pastel aesthetic, but also add a spooky twist to it. Isn't that the beauty of Etsy, where it really does go into these niches, into these sub-themes that are really, really specific, that you just really can't find this kind of stuff at a Home Goods or a TJ Maxx. I really loved getting this Creature from the Black Lagoon tiki mug from Geeky Tiki. This is just, I love when I actually purchase things that bring me endless amounts of joy. This is part decor when I'm not using it. And I just was thinking, should I get another tiki glass? Maybe something for Halloween that's a little bit more traditional spooky. And I just thought, I don't love anything as much as I love this. This is kind of like my little litmus test of, should I get another mug? Do I love it as much as this one? So Creature, he keeps me in check. Let's chat crafts. I started to crochet for the very first time this summer. I'm kind of kicking myself because the Woobles kit that I purchased was far more intensive and challenging than I initially thought it was in the beginning. So I wish I would have started this earlier in the summer, but I think that's something that is important to reflect on. So I haven't finished the shark just yet, but I do plan on doing so. I'm committed, and it has been quite a journey. So it is on my favorites list because it is something I do want to keep up with. I find it so satisfying to do the motion of an increased stitch or a single stitch. When I pick up this project again, I'm going to be teaching myself how to do a decrease stitch, which was very overwhelming when I first watched through those videos, but I just have to wait until I'm in a very calm state of mind where I'm ready to kind of take on something that's very creative like this. So the journey continues, but I did learn a lot about myself in the process. I've been really looking forward to sharing a little gaming update with you all. This past summer, my partner and I wrapped up 2 games on our PlayStation, and it really was a team effort because both of these games were games where we kind of were passing back and forth the controller. The first game we played was Killer Frequency. Killer Frequency is a first-person horror puzzle game set in 1987 that puts you in the role of a late-night radio talk show host in small-town America whose colors are being stalked by a mysterious killer. This game is technically horror, but I do feel like because you're not actually going to the scenes of where all of like the shenanigans are going down, you're just hearing them on this radio, like through the phone. I think it's a pretty tame game. So not a lot of like visual stuff going on if that's something you're concerned about. The atmosphere in this game is 10 out of 10. Just being able to explore in certain moments, like you really felt that we are in the 80s. I love that this game has a lot of like alternate endings, so you are able to replay it. So there's a lot of replayability there. There's only two things I didn't really care for when it came to this game. The first thing is that I got a little bit like dizzy or motion sick from the first person control feature. Secondly, I felt like being stuck in one location, which is where the radio show is being broadcast, was a bit limiting. Then we have The Quarry, which was recommended to me by Brooklyn from Brooklyn's library. When the sun goes down on the last night of summer camp, 9 teenage counselors are plunged into an unpredictable night of horror. The only thing worse than the blood-drenched locals and creatures hunting them are the unimaginable choices you must make to help them survive. I tried so hard to keep these kids alive. I was not always successful, but I love the way that this game is set up. Again, another atmospheric game that just brought me those summerween vibes. So if you're a fan of Friday the 13th or any kind of like summer camp setting, get on this one for sure. You will see some friendly, familiar faces because they do have some big name actors that show up in this game. Next summer, my partner and I have plans already to replay this game once our memory kind of lapses on the nuances of the story because we failed to keep all of our characters alive this summer. Hopefully next summer, they'll be making their way back home. The last section I wanted to share is going to be about all these spooky experiences that I enjoyed this past June, July, and August. YouTube is filled to the brim with people talking about all the things that they loved buying or things you shouldn't buy. So I just kind of want to have a space where we can just talk about memories and things that you really can't put a dollar amount to. One of which is going to be seeing the Lost Boys at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk on the beach, on the sand. This was free to anybody willing to go out to Santa Carla, the murder capital of the world, you know, taking the chance on meeting a vampire. It was such a fun time. Going there this year gave me the excuse to finally film a vlog where I share some rare filming locations, not just for the Lost Boys, but also for the movie Us and Killer Clowns from Outer Space that were also filmed in Santa Cruz, California. And then my partner and I just came back from our trip to the Lake Shasta caverns that truly blew my mind. It was giving like all the underground caving vibes that it was so spooky. It was so summerween. I've been watching a lot of YouTube content and movies around caving, cave diving. So being able to do it in a way that was very, very safe and also kind of let me have like just a little taste of the danger of, you know, these subterranean places was the perfect balance for me. The journey to get to the caverns itself is kind of half of the adventure. You drive this really narrow and windy road to get to the parking lot, and then you check in and they give you a number. You find your way onto this little boat. They take you across the lake, and then you are at the base of the mountain, I guess, where they put you on a 30-person bus shuttle. They take you up an even more narrow mountain road, and then you get to finally the actual base of the caverns. I've never been in anything like that before, but I absolutely would love to go to more places like this. I mean, you won't see me diving or caving in any extreme way, but going through something like this where there's stairs and handrails and walking paths and tour guides, like sign me up. This made my summer, and it was a really, really wonderful way to close it out. And just like that, summer is gone, fall is here. Let me know what is one summerween favorite of yours that you really feel like gave you a little bit of like a Halloween spooky vibe. I'd love to know. I can't wait to chat with you down below in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. Get ready for tons more Halloween content very, very soon. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.